You're spending all that money when you don't have a job. Where's all this money on unemployment the last 5 months?
Honestly forgot about it until a couple of months ago when I tried to take out a credit card. I had a 401k that completely wiped away.
Did you pull money out of that?
Of course. Well, my name is Michaela Wood. I'm 27 years old and I'm calling in from New York City, Staten Island.
What do you do for work up in New York?
I'm a background actress. I do a lot of acting in films, TV shows, commercials.
And how long have you been doing that for?
For the past 6 years.
And how much you make a year in the acting world?
About maybe like 5,000. I have other gigs as well. It's not always just acting. Since
5,000 a month, 5,000 a year.
No, about a year.
You're only making $5,000 a year.
Yes.
How are you surviving up in New York City on that?
Oh wow, I'm embarrassed now. So I live with my parents still, and I also work at Amazon, and then I also work at clubs as well. So I had other hustles.
Okay, so you're not just acting $5,000 a year, you have other jobs and sources of income.
Yes, but unfortunately, due to unfortunate circumstances, I am unemployed right now. So I do collect unemployment checks as well.
What happened with being unemployed if you're working on Amazon?
I got fired a few months ago.
Did you deserve it? What'd you do?
My rates were low. You had to meet a certain quota, and I wasn't I wasn't making the quota. So after I got a few write-ups, they gave me the boot.
And how long ago did this happen?
This happened in April of this year.
And so what have you been doing the last 5 months?
I've been doing acting work, but since the SAG union has been going on, the union strike, it's been slow. So mainly my main source of income is the unemployment checks.
Okay, so what would you say you made last year on a gross annual basis across acting, across Amazon, across all your sources of income?
Last year, maybe like 32,000, which isn't a lot.
Better than 5,000, what I thought initially it just was, so.
No, yeah.
But it's definitely still not a ton, especially in living in an expensive state like New York, so.
Right.
And right now, how much are your unemployment checks?
Oh, this is embarrassing. They're $330, but that's before taxes. So if you were to take out the taxes, it would be like $292
per week.
Yes, that's per week.
So you're getting about just under $1,200 a month from unemployment. And how much are you getting a month right now from acting gigs?
It's $1,300. It's a little over $1,300 with the unemployment. I haven't been doing that in a few months. So basically the unemployment is like the main source of income.
So the last few months you've just been collecting unemployment, haven't been doing really anything else?
Yeah.
Have you been applying to jobs?
Yes, I've been applying to a lot of like music jobs or anything with music because I am a musician. So that's like my next field or my next chapter in life is trying to go, is to do something with music.
Okay, we'll dive kind of into the career and job sphere here in a few minutes. But thank you for that background on where you're at currently. Let's talk about your current financial situation. On a scale of 1 to 10, where would you rate yourself? 1 being horrific, 10 being best financial situation in the world.
A 0. Can we add in a 0? I mean, that's my best trait is my honesty.
And why would you put yourself at a 0?
Because I'm doing horrible. I'm embarrassed, to be honest, you know, like being 27 and the fact that I had so many jobs last year and then now this year, like I'm not booked and busy. It's just a huge transition in my life. You know, I'm normally hustling or trying to get money. And now that my income is mainly down to just government checks from unemployment, it's a huge change.
Well, that's what I want to be here and help you, hold you accountable and figure out how can we get you out of this situation. So the first step of fixing a problem is identifying you have a problem. And you've already identified in the last few minutes that, hey, you're a 0 on the scale of 1 to 10. So you're not even on the scale. So let's figure out how do we get you to a better spot? And that's why I started the show, because I want to help America learn about money, talk about money, figure out what do you want to do with your career? How do you find a job that you've always wanted to do? And how do you make money to enjoy life? But that obviously takes income. And right now, depending on government assistance is not a sustainable way to live.
Right, because the unemployment is going to be over next month. So it's like, I need something quick.
Yeah. So you got a timeline. I was going to say you've been on unemployment for 5 months now, and it's what, about 6 months, I think unemployment goes for typically.
Yeah, and that 6 month is going to be in October. So that's
Okay.
next.
So let's talk about current debts. What debts do you have right now?
I have my Discover bill. That was my main credit card. I'm like 1,500 in debt, maybe a little bit less. And then my student loans, which my dad took out a loan to help pay for this loan because we had a joint agreement on the Sally Mae student loan. And then I wasn't paying it on time, so that's another financial burden. And so then he said, this isn't going. So he took out a loan since he had really good credit. And then I pay him $150 a month to help pay for the loan, his personal loan that he took out to pay for the student loan. So
okay. And on the credit card right now, the balance is $1,500.
in debt, like I owe.
Yeah. So you have $1,500 balance on that. And you told me before the show that the card is no longer has access to it, so you just are paying monthly on it.
We have to call Discover and ask, like, okay, how can I start paying this off? Because I have to get my credit up to leave my parents' house.
Okay, so you haven't been paying on that at all recently.
I'm gonna be honest, no. I don't even remember the last time I paid for it, to be honest.
Months? Are we talking 12 months?
I want to say at least a good year.
And what did that debt come from, the $1,500?
Well, since I'm an artist, I invest my money into a lot of things like studio time and music videos and lessons and instrumental beats, I should say. So that costs a lot of money. And then to promote myself online, that costs money. So I was so focused on that I didn't even think of like, okay, you have to pay for this credit card. Once they canceled it, I just honestly forgot about it until a couple of months ago when I tried to take out a credit card because I looked at my credit score and it dropped significantly.
Can you imagine if you haven't paid on a credit card in 12 months? That probably destroys the credit score.
Yeah, so it dropped, and then I said, oh my God, I have to get a credit card that's actually working since this one is inactive.
Can I give you a piece of advice?
Yes.
Don't open a credit card anytime soon, because if you open a credit card, put a $1,500 balance on it, and have forgotten about it, you're going to do the exact same thing.
But I'm not using any credit. That's the thing. Like, you have to use credit. Like, that was one of the main reasons that it dropped significantly. It's not even just the payments. It was the fact that I'm not using credit anymore.
It dropped because you opened a credit card, you maxed it out, and you haven't paid on it in 12 months. And having a credit card, yes, if you have a huge credit limit and you pay it on time every single month, it increases your credit score. But if you're in a cycle where you're on unemployment right now and you can't even pay your bills, you can't even pay this $1,500 off, you're just going to open another credit card. That balance is going to increase. You're going to get behind on payments, and your credit score is going to hurt from that. One of the issues I think in America right now is people overemphasize their credit scores. And yes, it matters if you're getting a mortgage and it helps your interest rate a little bit. They typically check your credit if you're going to go rent an apartment and they don't want to have someone with a 500 credit score living there because they won't trust you paying the bills on time. But a lot of people focus on credit scores in America and like, oh, I need to get a new credit card. I need to do this. But then they end up finding themselves in more credit card debt because like, oh, I need a new credit card to get my credit score up to 700 or up to 750. And then guess what? They do something like you did where you swipe the credit card, you forget about it, and then you fall behind on payments and it ends up hurting them. And
right.
If you ever pay interest on credit cards, you shouldn't have a credit card because no rewards, no credit score, whatever is worth, one, your mental sanity of being in debt, and two, no reward is worth having 28% interest rates on credit cards. So what you need to do right now, and we'll talk about this further, is like you need to figure out your current financial situation. Do not have a credit card right now. Continue to live just with a debit card, paying cash for things. And then once you can figure out your financial situation in the future, maybe then look at credit cards. But right now, opening up a credit card when you have this debt and you can't even pay your own bills, you don't even have a job, it's just going to hurt you because you're going to start swiping and you're like, oh, I have a $1,000 limit or I have a $2,000 limit. You're going to start swiping and be like, oh, I'll figure this out. I'll pay it off in 45 days. And then you're going to find yourself with another credit card that has a balance you're not paying off every single month. So please just don't open a credit card right now. Don't worry about that. What you need to worry about is paying off this current credit card and getting a job so that one day maybe you can look at getting a credit card. But if you get a new credit card right now, it's just going to, I can promise you 5 months from now, you're going to be carrying a balance on that and you're going to be spending money on it that you don't need to be spending.
Right. That's true.
We had that Discover card, $1,500. Student loans, what is the total balance of that?
The student loans, you mean like how much I owe or how much I took out?
How much did you take out originally, and then what is the total balance right now?
How much I took out was about 8,000, and I think I have like maybe a few hundred left to pay off.
Okay, so that's not very much. That's good.
Thank God.
Because I saw you put in the budget $700.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just making sure that wasn't a typo, because obviously, I mean, student loans are flying right now. People have, I guess, $1.5 trillion or $1.7 trillion worth of student loans out there right now. And payments are resuming a couple of days from now in October.
Mm-hmm.
So I was just making sure that wasn't a larger balance. But that's definitely attainable and easy. I mean, $1,500 in debt, $100, $700 on the student loans. That's something you can get out of by the end of this year.
I went to a community college, so that's why like my student loans aren't extremely high.
And let's talk about current assets. What assets do we have right now?
Nothing, to be honest. Like, it's not like I own anything.
Do we have any investments? Do we have any cash in our bank account?
You mean like a savings? No.
Nothing in your savings?
No. I know, it's so bad.
You're living at home. Where's all this money on unemployment the last 5 months?
I'm investing into my career, so it's like I maxed out everything. Everything. No, when I used to work at Amazon, I had a 401k. That completely wiped away.
Did you pull money out of that?
Of course. I maxed.
You can't do that.
I know.
It's called a 401k for retirement. It's not called a 401k to pull money out in your 20s.
I'm going to get taxed for it next year and for the unemployment as well. Yeah. Oh, is this a good episode?
You're killing me right now. How much was in your 401k?
It was a few thousand.
So you drained a couple $1,000s from that, completely wiped it out, and you're going to hit with penalties for that next year for early withdrawal and taxes on it. Because was it pre-tax $2?
That's a good question. I don't even know. Probably was.
Yeah, probably was. Majority of 401ks. I mean, there are Roth 401ks too, but majority of people contribute to their traditional. So I presume that you're going to be paying income taxes on that money plus the 10% early withdrawal penalties. So that's going to be a hefty bill coming your way.
Yeah.
How much is in your savings account right now?
Nothing.
Okay.
Nada.
I can see why you're putting yourself at zero now, because we're at a negative $2,000 net worth. I'm gonna be honest, it's not the worst I've seen or talked to. So
really,
it's very attainable. I mean, there's people that leave college with $100,000+ in student loans, and you have a couple $100 left on that, which is a much better spot to be in. Obviously, you have a credit card debt, and I hate seeing credit card debts because it's a very difficult cycle to get out of, because you pay the minimum on a credit card, and the balance only goes down by a couple of dollars every single month.
Right.
But $2,000, I mean, you get a full-time job, you still live at home, you should be able to pay this off in under a month. But the issue is trying to figure out where all this money's going, because you've been on unemployment for 5 months, you've been living at home. Where is this money going? But before we dive into current spending, those transactions that you sent over, let's talk about college. So you said you went to community college. What did you study there?
Liberal arts music. Well, actually, when I first went there, it was like music engineering or music production, and then that program got switched over to liberal arts music. So then that was my major.
And what are your future career goals?
Music, maybe TV. Well, no, I'm gonna put it into existence. TV. I'm writing a book on my life, and this is definitely gonna be in it. What else? I'm gonna open, like, it's funny. I actually do want to get a financial, like a business manager once I start making a lot more money, and definitely investing in real estate. So that'll be my 401k, I guess.
That you're not going to withdraw from early to put in different things. Well, hopefully this conversation will help you in terms of thinking about money moving forward, how to manage it, and I'll send you some different resources so you can educate yourself on money too, because a lot of people think they need financial advisors, or investing is impossible, or they can't do that, or they can't learn. And I mean, I do have a financial advisor. I've had him since I started investing when I was 15 or 16 years old, when I first started my first business. And great guy, call him when I need help, have different questions, different stuff. A lot of my investing I do not with him, because I've learned and understood how to invest for the long term without a financial advisor. I've made a lot of mistakes along the way, don't get me wrong. And like investing in single stocks. I've made a lot of money investing in single stocks. I've also lost just as much money investing in single stocks. So I've learned how to, hey, let's not try to beat the market. Let's invest in index funds and try to just go with the market. But what you need to do even before you start making money is learning and educating yourself about money. Even when you're on unemployment, even when you get your next full-time job, you have to start learning how to manage your money, how to budget your money, how to track your expenses, because as your income increases, you're going to find yourself in the same situation unless you learn and change habits now. I think it's 49% of Americans making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck. And that goes to show that it is not an income problem a lot of people have. It is a spending problem. If people making over $100,000 a year are living paycheck to paycheck, that means that they have bad habits. They're going on vacations. They're buying those Louis Vuitton bags. They're buying or financing those $50,000 Mercedes when they should not be doing that. Unless you get your money in check now, you're going to find yourself in that same cycle when you get a pay raise or something happens. Oh, I'm going to go buy this house, or I'm going to go finance this car, and your lifestyle creeps to continue to go up. So that's why right now is, while you're young, is how do you educate yourself about money so that when you start making more money, and again, speaking in existence, when you're on TV, when you're on shows, when you're doing these big gigs, then, hey, you know how to manage that money. You know to set aside money for taxes. You know, set aside money for savings for the future. And you know how to start allocating money and budgeting it. So I'll say some resources on how to learn, who to look at, educate yourself. Again, that's why I started this channel, because I want this to be an educational resource for everyone out there to know that, hey, you can start learning and educating yourself now, even if you're not making a lot of money, because it's going to change your habits now so that when you are making more money, it will pay dividends at that point. So
yeah, that's a good idea, actually. Opening up my eyes, because I'm thinking like, oh, okay, like I don't have money right now, but I'll get it. But now the lessons that you learn when you're at the bottom, you don't even realize them when you get to the top. And then when you're at the top, you wouldn't understand the lessons that you had if you weren't at the bottom. So.
And if you wait till the top to make changes, start learning, guess what? Your mistakes at the top at that point will be a lot bigger than they are if you start learning and educating yourself now. So if you make small mistakes now and you learn from those and you start educating yourself, your mistakes when you're making more money are going to be a lot smaller. Or you're going to think twice about it at that point because you learned along the way, or you saw along the way, hey, I shouldn't do that. So let's talk about your upbringing, financial education. What was your childhood like? Did you grow up in New York?
Yes, I was born and raised in Staten Island. What I first started learning about money was definitely when Christmas came around, when my birthday came around. As soon as I would get money, or not even that, like when my parents would give me like $5 to go to the deli or the supermarket, I would just spend most of it right there. So I think that from doing that as a child, that manifested into like, as I got older, I still had the same problem. So like some kids, they have a piggy bank and they save like little quarters or pennies and they stash it away. That was in my mindset, like $20 to me was $200. So I would just spend it and then have nothing to show for it, even as a child. Yeah.
And those money habits that you start when you're young, like you said, they go with you along the way as you're an adult, and you have taken those same habits of, hey, spend every single dollar that you have. Same way you did as a child, brought you where you are now, being in debt. So it's really interesting to see how, and they're called habits for a reason. When you build a habit, it's just ingrained in your mind, and you just think that's normal. That's how you do it, and your body and mind always functions that way. So now is the time to start figuring out how to change those habits, and again, start educating yourself so that it's not the same way. When you start making $50,000 or $100,000 a year, all that money doesn't get spent and go away immediately. So how did your parents approach money growing up?
I knew my parents struggled with finances. I think that they tried their best to not have my sister and I see that they were struggling with finances. But I knew from an early age that they wanted to save to buy a house. So we lived in like a smaller apartment. And then from 5 till I was about 15, so exactly like a decade, they saved up. And then we moved into like a nice size house. When I was younger, my dad definitely instilled in me to save money, because he had like a not a piggy bank, but it was a big coin, like a slot thing. So he would put pennies and quarters and dollar bills in there, and I would say like, well, why are you doing that? I thought it was silly, especially at his age. And he would say, I'm saving money. And even if it's just, I would see him pick up a penny off the street, or I'm like, oh, like it's a penny. Like he said, it's still money. And I would see him roll up his quarters or his pennies and then take it to the bank. And then he would have hundreds of dollars. And then he said, this is free money and I get to spend it on what I want. So that was definitely something that he instilled in me, but I didn't listen to him since I'm very stubborn. And that was definitely something that I saw as a child. But now that I'm older, I'm realizing like I should have listened to him and took his advice, but I didn't. So I learned the hard way.
Yeah. Did he talk to you about money growing up besides, hey, saving money? Did he talk to you about budgeting or them saving for a house?
He told me about like how he would save money from his job. Living in New York City is very expensive. Like, where are you from?
I'm in Atlanta, Georgia, so it is definitely a lot cheaper than New York City. New York City, surrounding areas is an expensive place to live.
Right. He always told me like, if you don't make it, you have to leave. And that was really something that now that I'm 27, I learned, and I'm starting to see what he's saying, not even just about the money or, the cost of living here. It's just the quality of life. And to see my money stretch further, I want to leave New York City, even if I'm making a lot of money. I would still want to leave just so like the value of my house takes me further than what it would living here.
Yeah. I mean, in New York, I think I saw a headline, or I think it's Bloomberg or someone that said, hey, $100,000 in New York is equivalent to $35,000 or somewhere in that $30,000 range compared to other parts of the country, which is just wild. But I mean, I think the average rent of a one bedroom is $4,000 or $5,000 now in Manhattan. It's just insanity.
Yeah.
Versus in Atlanta, where I live, is like you can get a nice one bedroom for $1,100 to $1,500. You might not get a high rise in downtown, but you can get a pretty nice place for in the low thousands. So
I'm gonna be honest, even like the high rise, like the view isn't what it's cracked up to be.
It's not worth the money.
Yeah, exactly.
Do you track your spending at all? Do you budget ever?
No. No, I won't be fully transparent with you. I don't budget. The only time I did budget was when I would do my music videos and they would say like, what is your budget? That was one. Okay. And then two would be when I would go on trips with my friends. I only went on like a few trips with my friends, but I would say like, okay, this is the most I'm going to spend. And then I'm going to have like my emergency money set aside, just God forbid if something was to happen out there.
Okay. So the last 5 months, you're living at home right now. So it looks like your living expenses are pretty minimal. You're paying your parents $450 a month in rent, it looks like. You have $7 of subscriptions. You said $150 for eating out, $50 for entertainment, health and fitness, $10, shopping, $100, travel, $60. That is $827 in expenses. Where's the rest of the money going? Because you said on unemployment, you're bringing in about $1,300 a month right now.
Right. So, I mean, like, that would be more on average. If I do have extra money, I spend it on my music. So, like, that goes to the studio time. That'll go to promoting it. That goes to the videographer. It's expensive following your dream. Comes with a core.
It is, but you also have to take care of yourself financially before you can follow a dream, because then you're just going to find yourself in a further hole. Because right now you're prioritizing your music, which I want you to chase your passions. I want everyone to chase their passions, but I want them to do it financially responsibly. And right now, by saying, hey, I'm going to go spend $500 or $1,000 on this music stuff versus, hey, I'm going to pay out this Discover card, you're prioritizing and investing in your future of your music career, but also you're trading off peace of mind and getting out of debt so that you can start allocating money towards that. So if you get out of debt and you have a full-time job, then, hey, let's start saving $300 or $400 a month and put this towards your dream, towards your ambitions, towards your passions. But right now you're in a spot where you don't have a job, you're living off unemployment, but then you're putting all the money into your dreams and aspirations when you don't even have your personal stuff kind of figured out, personal finances, because the music, videography stuff, I mean, that's all obviously career oriented. That's investing in the future, but that's not, you got to take care of yourself first. And then the business side of it, you got to take care of second. If you don't take care of yourself first, the business side is going to hurt too, because it's going to limit you on how much money you can budget towards those things. It's going to limit your sanity because you can't go and rent a place. You can't, because you have a credit card you haven't paid in 12 months. You can't afford to really do much when you have these payments and when there's debt overlooming you. So you really need to prioritize. And it's not, like I said, it's not much that $2,200. You shouldn't have this debt over the last 6 months, 5 months that you've been living at home.
Mm-hmm.
How much money have you spent on your music career over the last 5 months, would you say?
Oh gosh, that was a lot. That was like 1,000.
So this debt could have been paid off by now.
Yeah. Wait. Oh yeah.
You're spending all that money when you don't have a job.
I know.
That's the worst part.
I know. I was just focused on that. I wasn't even thinking about myself. I was just, because I've been doing this for years now, so it's like I just cared about that and making sure that was, because that's my baby. So I feel like I have to take care of my baby before I did myself. But yeah.
And I get that, but you have to take care of yourself first. And right now, you're not taking care of yourself doing that. You're taking care of the dream, but that dream is putting you further behind. And spent thousands of dollars doing that. That could have been paid off a while ago.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's talk about jobs. So you said last year you had a bunch of different jobs.
Yes.
And this year, not many. What's happened there?
I used to work in clubs, but then I stopped because the environment was a little bit too frisky. The acting gigs, I was getting booked and busy like every week or every other week. I was getting jobs with that. And then Amazon, that was flex. So that means that I got to pick up different shifts. It wasn't a regular 9 to 5 schedule. It was more, if you pick up a shift, then you could come in and work on your own accountability. So Amazon stopped at the beginning of this year when you got fired. How many jobs have you applied to since April? A lot, but they were mainly music jobs or like entertainment industry jobs. They weren't regular 9 to 5s.
How many would you say estimate?
You mean like a regular music 9 to 5 job?
Yeah, like have you applied to 10 jobs? Have you applied to 1,000?
Okay, not 1,000, probably like a couple of hundred. But that's included acting gigs as well. Like a gig versus 9 to 5.
Okay, yeah. How many consistent paychecks, whether it's Amazon Flex, it's a consistent pay because it's daily, hourly gigs versus a project for acting, it might be a one-time day rate. How many consistent, at least 20 plus hours a week jobs have you applied to?
Maybe like 50, 60.
Okay. Well, I guess so. That's only 10 a month, which...
Yeah. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like the first 2 months of me, maybe even going into 3 months, I was enjoying my free time. Like I'm not trying to glorify being on unemployment. I'm not saying that, but once I had more free time, and especially since last year I was working so hard, and then now it just stopped. I was like, oh wait, hold up. But then I realized that my checks weren't that much, so it was limited on how much I could do. So, but I was just, I was being lazy. I'm gonna be honest. I don't want to lie. That's one thing I don't want to do is lie.
At least you're honest about it. But yeah, need to get back on the hustle with applying to stuff. And I saw a post on LinkedIn the other day that someone applied to 430 something jobs in the span of a month, and they got like 20 interviews and they got 2 offers out of that. So it kind of shows the scale that, hey, applying to 20 jobs, applying to 30 jobs, even applying to 50 jobs is not enough. You got to be applying to hundreds of jobs because it's a competitive landscape out there. It's a competitive market. There's a lot of people looking for opportunities for jobs. Mm-hmm. And if you kind of pick and choose and say, I want to work at this company, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that because there's so much competition, so much people looking for jobs out there, especially when you got strikes going on in the acting world. People are trying to find jobs in other careers and industries. So definitely need to be applying and trying to find as many opportunities as you can there. And also then when you do get a job, you got to really hustle and set yourself straight. So, hey, I'm not going to get fired again for underperforming. I need to make sure I'm holding these benchmarks. Because right now, you need a paycheck. You got unemployment ending in a couple of weeks from now. And once that's done, you better be hustling in the next 4 weeks so you can get a job before then. Because otherwise, you're not going to have any money to spend on anything.
Right. Yeah, 100% right.
So let's go ahead and look at this monthly spending. I know you sent over a few different transactions on here. So we'll start in August. Living on unemployment, we're going to get coffee still for $8 in the morning.
Wait, which one was that? Glory Jeans?
Glory Jeans coffee on August 23rd.
Oh, they have this good iced matcha latte, which is way better than Dunkin'.
I don't care what they have. You don't have a job right now. You shouldn't be getting coffee.
I know, but still, it tastes good. And it helps me like stay full and feel healthy.
Is that coffee worth staying in debt?
Yeah, because it tastes good.
Do you want to get out of debt?
Yes. Yes, I do. Eventually.
Eventually, you're only at $2,000. You can have this paid off by the end of this year easily. It's not eventually, just like the TV thing. You have to speak it into existence. You can't say eventually. You have to put timelines on it. If you put a timeline on it, hey, I'm going to get this paid off by the end of this year, and you write that goal down, you'll be a lot more likely to hit that goal than, hey, I want to get out of debt eventually. And then guess what? 12 months from now, you're going to find yourself still in debt because you didn't hold yourself accountable. You didn't write a goal down on a timeline that's actually quantifiable.
Right, that's true. Yeah.
CVS Pharmacy, $77. What are you buying at CVS for $77?
What day was that?
August 23rd, just after Glory Jeans.
Oh, that was for my dad's birthday. I took out money for that. I had to get him something.
Does your dad want a gift or does he want to spend quality time with you? Because if I had to guess, he'd rather quality time when you're living on unemployment and don't have a job.
That's true. He's not too picky with his gifts, but still.
Nice handwritten card and you could make him dinner. Or
I
you
keep
could,
coach, so that's a negative.
Okay, then you could go for a walk in the park with your dad. But
boring.
Spending $80 on him for his birthday when you're not going to be able to afford rent next month for him, he's not going to like that.
That's true.
Then we got a Lyft for $16. Why are you taking a Lyft right now on August 24th?
Okay, I don't really have a car. Well, I don't have a car, but I didn't feel like taking.
Work has a Subway.
No, I don't live near a Subway. I live near a bus, or it's either a bus or a cab near me.
Okay, buses. Buses are cheap and easy to get around the city on. And again, living on unemployment, you can't afford to go and spend $16 on a Lyft.
Why did I take a Lyft? I was probably feeling lazy.
And then we got IHOP on September 2nd for $15.
Okay, so they had pancakes. Yeah, I remember that. I love their pancakes. I'm a huge IHOP fan.
And then you went Empire East that same day for $31.
My mom wanted 5 egg rolls, and she paid me my money back. So technically, it was more like $15. So I got some of my money back with that.
Okay, so we got $15 Empire East, and we got $15 IHOP, but still $30 eating out on a single day. That should not be happening when you don't have a job, and just should not be happening.
Yeah.
Stop and Shop, we got $7, so getting snacks or something there. More Gloria Jeans for $7 on September 18th. We got pizza for $15 on September 18th. Gloria Jeans again for $8 on the 18th. So you went to Gloria Jeans twice in the same day?
Oh, yeah. That matcha latte is everything.
You can't do that.
I know, you're right. It just tastes so good.
See, you said you wanted to have debt, but this isn't proving to me that you even thought about even want to try to get out of debt because you're prioritizing 2 cups of coffee in one day that are $8 each. $8 cup of coffee, that's ridiculous.
It's a latte. It's not a coffee.
I don't care what it is. And then we got pizza for $15. And then we got Stop and Shop again for $22.
Okay, that's groceries.
Planet Fitness, all for health. So you got to have that. Then we get all the way to, you go to Empire East again, spend $8, and you get your bank account balance down to $11.03 because you've decided to spend $400 over the course of the previous week or two on eating out, your dad's birthday, lifts, coffee. Get down to $11.03. And then that unemployment check hits for $330. But again, that's not even account for taxes. So you're spending your tax money right now too.
It's bad out here.
Going to Target for $5. That's the last of the transactions I have. But I mean, right now, one, you're not tracking your spending because you probably don't even know how much money. I don't even want to know how much money you spent on Gloria Jeans in the last 5 months. I promise you it's more than I want to know. Eating out too. You're not tracking your money. So you're not going to know where it's going to go. It's going to disappear. You're going to find yourself, unless you start budgeting, unless you start tracking your expenses, you're going to find yourself in a spot. It looks like you've been doing this for the last 5 months as you get down to probably $10 and the next unemployment check hits. Then it replenishes back up to $300 something, and then it depletes again before the next one hits. Is that how you've been living for the last 5 months? And you haven't wanted to change or haven't started figuring out how to get out of that?
No, I mean, I have. I've been telling myself, okay, like, 1, don't ever get fired. That's number 1. 2, pay off the credit card. 3, this music thing really needs to take off soon because you're drowning in debt. And, well, I don't want to say drowning, but, you have a lot of things to pay for. And, next year I also do want to leave the nest. So that's something that I'm going to have to find a way to get myself out of this hole, because when these realtors look at my credit history and they see that, okay, she doesn't pay her bill on time, they're going to deny me. So, that's something that I have to work on. And I've been taking some mental notes. But now, at least I acknowledge the problem, but now I have to put that problem into action. So
yeah, you have to educate yourself, have to put in action, putting yourself on a budget, and have to start hustling to find jobs. I know you want to pursue the music stuff. I know you want to, that's your passion, your dreams, but maybe right now for the season of life, hey, let's put investing money into that on hold. And if you can do stuff yourself with just your time, do that. But if you're spending $100 a month on that versus paying your debt off, then it's just going to continue to be an endless cycle. And it's like, okay, if you pause your music stuff for the next 3 months, don't spend any more money on that. Get a job, continue to hustle, start applying to 50 jobs a week that are normal 9 to 5 hourly paid jobs. Go become a server at a restaurant down the street, whatever it might be, and start paying this debt off while you're still living at home, while you have low overhead. Then you can be out of this debt in the next couple months. And then, okay, great. When January comes around, you're debt free. You have a stable job, hopefully making at least $3,000 a month, if not more, and take home pay. Let's start figuring out, okay, I need to start saving money for retirement in an account that I'm not going to withdraw early from, like a 401k. Something, if you're going to put in a 401k or a Roth IRA, you promise that you will not withdraw from it early again. Start saving money for just an emergency fund. Start figuring out what is your plan for moving out on your own and getting a place of your own. But right now, by prioritizing the music stuff, it's just prohibiting you from getting out of debt, which is going to limit you from ever moving out of the house because your credit score is in the trash right now because you haven't paid on this credit card in over a year.
Right. That's true.
So, and I'm not saying, hey, pause the music career, don't ever do it ever again, but it's okay for this season of life. Can I slow this down? Can I stop this for now for the next 3 months, get out of debt, and then I can start figuring out what is my budget that I can allocate towards this passion, towards this music career every single month that I'm comfortable with once I'm debt free, once I know I have enough money to move out on my own and I've educated myself about money, I've started budgeting my money, then let's start figuring out, okay, how much money can I allocate to my paycheck towards this passion project?
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's like any passion. You have to make sure that you're debt-free and doing it smartly. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a new hole. And I hope your music career takes off. I hope that you make a lot of money from it. But what if 5 years from now, it hasn't taken off? And maybe it's year 7 or 8 that it does take off. And if you start continuing to pile hundreds of dollars a month into it and just compounding that debt over time, it's going to get ugly and you're going to find yourself in a worse spot. So it's like, you got to get yourself financially under control and then start allocating money towards that.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
So what are some financial mistakes you've made in the past and that you've learned from?
I definitely feel like going to college, I don't think I should have went. I feel like I should have just pursued my dreams at a younger age where I didn't have all these financial responsibilities. Like, I don't know how to explain it. I don't feel like college is for everyone. And I feel like I wasted my money on that, especially knowing that it wouldn't put me in debt with the taking out loans. And I don't know, it just wasn't, I don't think that was the right path for me, to be honest.
Everyone has their different takes or opinions on college. And I was fortunate. I didn't have any student loans. My parents paid for my education. And I also had in-state tuition and had scholarships on top of that for academic scholarships. But I'm fortunate and thankful for college because I think I learned a lot and grew up a lot during college. And I didn't need to go to college. I had a business I started in high school and I could have just done that instead of going to college. But I think as just a human being, as an adult, I grew up a lot going to college and just learning. But also on the flip side, I don't think if you are going to college and you want to spend $50,000 or $40,000 a year to go to a university that you're going to get a journalism degree that you're going to be making $40,000 a year after college and you have $160,000 in student loans, I think that's a horrendous idea to do. So I think there's a happy medium with college is figuring out how can you go to an in-state school with a lot of scholarships and pursue something that is going to pay well. And would want you to, if people are going to college and have to take out student loans, how can you cash flow that? How can you go get jobs while you're in college and start trying to pay for some of this stuff. What grants can you get? I had friends that applied to a lot of different grants throughout college and got thousands of dollars worth of grant money for the academics, for different things that they applied to. And frankly, just had to apply, and it wasn't the easiest thing to get, but I had plenty of friends that applied to a lot of different grants, applied to a lot of different scholarships every single year to figure out how can they help pay for college and hustle that way. So have you ever made a risky investment?
Yeah, with this music thing, like I was telling myself this like the past few months, definitely once I got unemployed, I was like, I see why people don't go after their dreams, or I see why people quit.
It's expensive.
Yeah, it's very expensive. And it's not even just that. But when you're doing something that so many people want to do, it's just like, what makes you think that you're going to be, the one to blow up? You really have to believe in yourself. Like, I've watched Shark Tank when I was younger, and I remember the contestants, they would say, oh, I spent all my savings on this, or I took out money from my 401k. And I would think like, really? You spent all that? Yeah, you got to do that. It comes with a price. It comes with a hefty, hefty price tag. And a lot of people don't realize that.
And you only see the success stories out of it too. The people that pull out their 401ks. I know some guys that they pulled out every single one of their dollars and of the 401ks, and they built a multi-million-dollar business and have thrived and done great things with it. But on the flip side, for every single person that's successful with that, there's probably 90 people or 99 people with that have failed. Or you don't see that they pull all the money out of their 401k and drain their savings, drained all their investments, did not succeed with it. And yeah, pursuing your passion is expensive. And for example, this podcast, I'm making no money from it. It's purely a passion project. I want to help America learn about finances. Do I think I'm going to become the next Dave Ramsey? Probably not, because I think, one, he does a phenomenal job, and they have some great talent on there. They got George Campbell, they got Rachel Cruz, and they have so many different awesome talents on there. Do I think I'm ever going to be as big as Dave Ramsey? No, but I also don't care to. I just want to help. If I can help change 100 people's lives, 10 people's lives, one person live with every single video, then that means the world to me. And I just want to help educate people, because I was fortunate enough when I was in high school, I took a Dave Ramsey course, and that changed my financial future and trajectory, because I started learning about investing, started learning about budgeting, started learning about compound interest. And that's what got me to start investing I started my first business when I was 15, and I took that class when I was either 15 or 16 and went to my dad and was like, hey, I want to start investing my money that I'm making from my business. And that's helped me a lot over the last 10 years now. And I want to help America learn more about money, because I was fortunate in a spot to learn in class and have that class offered to me when a lot of people don't have that opportunity. And I've invested thousands of personal dollars into this show, having guests on here and figuring out how to get this going. And my goal is just to help people. And it's expensive. And the issue is, like you said, a lot of people drain all their savings, drain all their investments to pursue passions. It's not an overnight success, and they get demoralized. And I've been doing this for 5 months now. I just crossed 1,000 subscribers. Might not seem like a lot. My goal is just to help learn and educate people. I've had people come on here and thank me for just opening their eyes about finances. That's what means the world to me, more than anything monetarily, is changing people's lives, educating them, and just helping the world learn more about money. So I guess my tangent right there was, yes, pursuing your dreams and passions is expensive. It comes at a cost, and a lot of people do give up when they're so close because of the expenses, because they don't see the progress immediately. And same thing with the music is, I don't want you to give up on it, but I also don't want you to go into further debt or any debt because of it. And it's figuring out how can you get yourself in a good financial situation so that you can invest money into those passions.
Yeah, understandable.
So what are your takeaways from this conversation today?
It's definitely to put yourself first, not necessarily like the dream, but just you and what your priorities are. And I feel like with me right now, my priorities is just the career aspect, but it's not the financial aspect. And how am I going to sustain my finances each month if I don't even have a job? I have to put that into perspective. I have to put in my future. And the future is a month from now when I'm not collecting this anymore. So what are you going to do when that happens? And just take what you can, not always just pick what you want. It's like I would tell my parents, oh, I don't want to do another 9 to 5, but it's like time is ticking now. So whatever is available, unfortunately, you might have to take that. But definitely to be smarter with financial decisions that I make. And I mean, at least I'm still young now, so I could learn as I get older. Okay, don't spend money on this. Or even when it comes to like, I love the fact that you said even for my dad's birthday, you know, I could have just spent quality time with him. But like with my sister's birthday next week, I was just thinking like, oh shoot, like now I have to get her a gift and stuff. So, you know, I'll still get her a gift, but it won't be as much.
Write her a card, a handwritten card, and spend some time with her. But
Right.
you have to prioritize yourself. When you're buying people's gifts, when you're in debt, it's kind of like the saying in an airplane is you're putting other people's masks on before yourself. So you're putting other people's happiness, birthdays, whatever before yourself, and that's going to hurt you in the long term. And in the short term, basically. So you have to prioritize yourself before you can make others happy and prioritize them, because it's just going to hurt you in the long term. You're spotting it right now. I mean, the main things I want to see you do is start budgeting your money. I don't care if you're on unemployment. I don't care if you're making $1 billion a minute. If you're not budgeting your money, you're not going to know where it's going to go. So You need to start budgeting, tracking every single expense. Use a free platform. I use one called mint.com. But you need spreadsheets, but you have to understand where every single dollar is going, how much are you spending eating out, how much are you spending on X, Y, and Z, so that you can cut back on things that are not needed. 2, you got to be hustling to get a job. Like you said, you got a ticking bomb right now of under a month of when unemployment ends. And when that ends, you have no income coming in. You've been living on that for the last 5 months. You got to hustle. You don't really have much of a choice, like you said, with do you want to do 9 to 5 or do you want to do these project gig things right now? Because right now, you have to take what you can get. And if that means you're going to go work a 9 to 5 for the next 3, 4, 6 months until you get acting going, until you get your music career going, whatever it might be, you got to do that because you got to live. You have to make money. Life's expensive. New York's expensive. If you want to go live on your own, you can't live like the way you're living right now. So you have to find a job that's sustainable, that is consistent income. And then once you get that, you got to have a plan for paying off this debt. And again, right now, your debt being $2,000, $2,200, is frankly not that high. It's something that you can pay off and living at home in under 2 or 3 months easily. If you have a plan, if you have a budget, and you pause your music stuff. But the worst thing to do is get a job and say, okay, I'll worry about the Discover card 12 months from now, or I'm going to invest another $1,000 in a new music video when, hey, that could wipe away your student loans, or that could wipe away majority of this credit card. So you have to pay off this debt as quickly as possible when you get a job. And then the last thing is educate yourself. And I'll send you a bunch of resources too, but you got to start learning and educating yourself about money, about investing, whether it's in a 401k or it's in a Roth IRA or it's in real estate or budgeting, how to budget, what to budget. But you have to start educating yourself. You're young, you're 27 years old, and you have the lifetime ahead of you. I'm young too. I'm 26. I'm just basically the same age as you. Yeah, we have a world of life ahead of us if we're lucky. Hopefully we live till we're old. We have plenty of time to change things in our life, recover from bad financial decisions, and build the life that we want. But it all starts with educating yourself now so that when you're 30, when you're 40, when you're 50, that the actions you take today only affect you positively in the future financially. So really have to start educating yourself and learning. I hope you can do it. I know you can do it. Speak it into existence. You are going to do it. I'll send you again a lot of different resources just to learn from, to look at. And I want to be a resource for you. I want to do a follow-up hopefully in 6 months from now or 12 months from now. And we say, hey, Michaela's back on here. She's debt-free. She moved out on her own. She's got a full-time job and she's saving money. She's investing money and she's putting a little bit of money into her music career right now. And I hope that's a conversation we have 6 to 12 months from now. And it's not unrealistic at all. It's not like you have $100,000 of student loan debt or credit card debt that you're trying to pay off right now. It's okay, you got $2,000, 6 or 12 months from now, you can be debt-free, you can have a fully saved emergency fund, and you can be living and enjoying things that you want to in life. So I hope we can have that conversation 6 to 12 months from now.
Yes, hopefully.
Awesome, Michaela. Well, thank you so much for joining today. Thank you for your time. And hopefully we'll see you on a follow-up here in a few months.
Yes, I'm looking forward to it. Thank you.